The Owl House finale sure was good. At least half of the episode was one big continuous action scene, and it looked fantastic. The battle between the main characters and the Emperor Bellas is probably the single most expensive animated scene ever aired on Disney Channel. I don't possess actual numbers here, but just taking a look is enough. If you think this and this was smooth, the final episode presents the whole new level of smoothness. It looks like it has at least 48 frames per second. The entire sequence looks just amazing. We criticize Disney a lot for cutting the third season short, and rightfully so. Because of the company's stubbornness and fear of losing precious pennies, we lost so many great moments. And that still saddens me a lot, because The Owl House had a huge potential to become one of the best animated shows of our generation. It still is to a certain extent, of course, but it just doesn't really feel complete in the way that shows like Gravity Falls do, for example. However, Disney tried to make it up as much as the company could when it was already too late to change plans. The final episode received enormous financial backing. Previous episodes had some very smooth moments, but they were fairly short battle scenes and the first kiss between Luz and Amity. Half of Watching and Dreaming looks super smooth, and the running time of the episode is also bigger than usual. Usually one episode is about 44 minutes to fit a 1 hour TV slot with all the advertisement. 22 minutes or so for a half an hour slot. The finale of The Owl House is 54 minutes, which is amazing obviously. I could watch an entire hour or more, to be honest. I am really glad that Bellas remained the main antagonist eventually. He is a much better villain in my opinion, at least. He has a backstory revealed in the second season and a real motivation to do what he does. Not to mention his look is way more intimidating, especially in his monstrous form. The Collector simply doesn't have this, and he doesn't have the same aura as Bill Cipher for comparison. The Collector is just a child who needs friends. And speaking of the Collector, I felt like his turning into a good side was kinda rushed. Just at the beginning of the episode he was doing his creepy mind games on Luz, but 15 minutes later or so he is ready to change and be a good guy. And his magic suddenly stops working when Bella sneaks into the heart of the Titan, so our trio of main characters could fight Bellas without his help. The fight was great without a doubt. But do we really need this main character sacrifices herself or gets killed trope? We know that the characters will not die. This is not a Kamiga kill after all. That show has the opposite problem. Everybody dies. This trope is used to make the story more emotionally intense. What can be more badass and more satisfying than the main character coming back from the dead, even stronger than before, to kick the main villain's rear end? I guess it totally worked in The Owl House. I wish Amity and other secondary characters were more present during the final battle. I wish there was some other action going on involving other characters. Despite obvious issues, the final episode feels the most complete in the third season. It didn't feel too rushed overall apart from the Collector's sudden redemption. But it's not like the Collector was some sort of irredeemable evil demon, like Bill Cipher. The two previous episodes, for comparison, had some serious pacing issues, especially the first part. If we got a regular 20 episode season, I think that the first episode would have been half of the season, about 10 episodes or so. The second one would have been 6 or 7, and the last one 4 or 3 episodes arc, much similar to Weird Mageddon. Speaking of Weird Mageddon, some people try to justify Season 3 being short by comparing it to the Gravity Falls finale. And yes, we talk about running time exclusively, all 3 parts of Weird Mageddon are 88 minutes long collectively, while all 3 parts of the last season of The Owl House are almost 2.5 hours. But we need to understand the big difference between these shows. Gravity Falls was originally planned to have only 2 seasons, and by the time Weird Mageddon started, Almost all character arcs that were supposed to be closed had more or less satisfying closures. Zeus and his past, Pacifica's redemption, Ford returning from the portal. The Owl House, on the other hand, just like Amphibia, was originally planned by Dana Terrace as a 3-season show. There were so many ideas and concept arts of what to do in the 3rd season. Most of these ideas will never see the light of day, unfortunately. Basically, we only saw a skeleton of the season 3, if you will. I still feel bad for Boscha, I don't know why, but I grew fond of her and think she deserved redemption arc too. She deserved to become friends with Emily again. All in all, I must say, the Owl House finale was pretty awesome. It was exactly what I expected it to be. Great animation and tons of emotion, mostly positive of course. The ending was excellent and it is pretty hard to believe that the show is now over. And there is not gonna be any continuation because Dana Terrace is done with Disney. Well, good for her. Hope she'll create more amazing shows in the future. Hope she'll have more creative freedom as well. I also hope that the Owl House will show, or already show to Disney executives, or whoever is in charge of approving content and distributing budget, that good serialized animated shows are in demand now, and we will have more good stuff in the future. Disney has got everything. Money, their own streaming service, an army of talented animators all ready to make something awesome, and most importantly, an audience. Anyway, the Owl House ended and it was an amazing journey, despite all the studio interference that got in the way of the creativity. Now we have another great animated show to add to our collection. Can't wait to see what else Dana Terrace and Alex Hirsch will create for us.